Welcome to SapiensTalks and the podcast where we talk about different ideas, the ideas which are going to strengthen our relationships. At the same time, we would also be able to become the best version of ourselves. So, today we are going to talk about the power of kindness, the kindness which can help us influence other people. This is a world where people are facing different kinds of challenges, and if we start talking to them, if we start showing some kindness towards these people, this can put their mind at ease. And we are talking about the small and random act of kindness. This random act of kindness can be in any form. I mean, when you talk to people, when you look at them, you can simply pass a smile at them. You can talk to them with some loving words, and you can say them hello, and you can simply show them some kind of you know the sense of being a human. So this is something which we are going to talk about, because this simple random act of kindness can you can say can help people become comfortable with all the challenges they're facing in their lives. So, Robin, what do you think what it means to be kind? I mean, what do you think kindness is all about? Is it just because you are going to help people out with you're just helping them financially, or you are helping them with something bigger, or you can simply do something which is possible for you, can also help people feel quite good about themselves.
Okay. Yes, kindness, what to say, but before I say anything, let me say to all my audience, hi and good evening. And this is Robin here. Now, kindness is a very heavy word. It carries a lot of weightage. When I say, I mean that because when you talk about kindness, maybe, something else for many people. But I mean, this question we must ask ourselves: do we listen to people? Do we really give them the space they really need for? Do we really take care of their concerns? Do we really, prioritize their concerns in our life? I think if we do that, that will be kindness to them. I'm not talking about kindness in its literal term, because kindness in literal term is something even bigger than this, which
Yeah.
people I think can't afford right now. However, it doesn't, charge anyone. Someone wants to be kind to someone, then it is for free. In fact, when you become kind to other person, you are actually doing something, for you, not for other. I mean, I don't know, but maybe the other party is getting benefits from your being kindness, but you at the same time are also doing something a little good to yourself, because kindness, uh, kindness means when you are overwhelmingly, you know, uh, I mean, having a belief in the humanity. That's very important,
Yes.
because we have lost our touch to humanity, and that needs to be restored, right? So before we go and talk about kindness, and we have to be, as you what you have said, that we need to pass our smile, we need to appreciate someone for their hard attempts and
Yes.
efforts. It's good, we can do that, but as we have discussed a lot of time through these such videos, that people have become more diplomatics,
Yeah.
so they don't do that. In fact, they don't even think of conducting themselves, because it gives them some discontentment, or what to say, they maybe feel themselves not uh, be in a rightful position in the society, because the demand of the society is something else than what we are talking about, because what we are talking about is a part of morality, right? Because when we say we are kind and we are trying to become a kind person, or we are cultivating this habit in us, so that we could create such a beautiful and a very peaceful, tranquil environment and ambience around us, then it's good and it's a rightful move. But I don't know how many people are really, in a mood to do that.
Yes.
So let's begin this very kindness with a very small step, and we have to pace it up on a gradual mode. So if you meet with someone, your kindness to them would be that if you listen to them carefully, if you give them proper space, if you feel them that their concerns are our concerns, moreover, you are not behaving in a more diplomatic manner as two political leaders come and meet and only talk about their self interest,
Yeah.
right? So if such a relationship is maintained and somehow possible, then I think it could be the very, it could be something bigger as full as meaning, right,
Yeah.
for both of them. And as we know, when you step forward taking something positive in your mind, then it becomes infectious, right? It start getting infected other people, so other people all also behaving in the same way. Other people start becoming more kind, right? And this is often said, right? If you really want to have respect, if you really want to have people's attentions, concern, their love, their care, then first you have to show to them in the same way.
Yeah.
Thereafter, this two-way transactions, then become possible, right? So, according to me, kindness is good as we have talked about. But I think before we go and try to inculcate this kind of habit in us, I think we have to gradually start this process, and we have to be first human, and we have to consider other person as human, and we have to look beyond this materialistic parameter, this lifestyle, because our perception, our standpoint are almost well regulated by this materialistic kind of frame, right? So therefore we have to be very careful about it, because we have to establish a very close and a very human relationship, right? And this is only possible when you these things, I mean, when you put aside these materialistic things and carry yourself forward and establish a very heartful relationship with other. Over to you.
Human beings are emotional beings, and everybody knows the other person's gestures. I mean, when you talk to people, they can easily gaze you, they can easily see you through. I mean, whether we are being true to yourself and to them as well, or you are just putting some mask on your face, and you are trying to be what you are not. People can understand it. It means when you are with people, people must feel valued, people must feel cared for. And if they don't feel this emotion while being with you, it means you are just putting some mask on you, and you're not being true to yourself, you're not being loyal with them. So when you want to cultivate this habit, this kindness, then you have to be true to yourself. I mean, you should not be just trying to fool a person, because people can easily know this. I'm reminded of a story that happened 2,500 years ago. I may not be wrong, I may not be correct in terms of the time, but this is the story when Lord Buddha was there on this planet. And there was a lady whose name was Patkara, and she loved a boy, and she eloped with the boy in order to marry him. And then finally she married that boy, and then there came a day in her life when she lost all the family. I mean, her family and her mother's family, the two families, she lost two families in just one day. Her husband was bitten by a poisonous snake. And when she was going to deliver the second baby, her husband was bitten by a poisonous snake. And the boy who was going to be delivered was carried off by a hawk. And she lost her son, the who was the older one. He was drowned in water. And her parents, they just their house collapsed, and she lost the parents. This happened just in one day. And she was so mad with the she was so sad that she was not able to know who she was, and she was just she was going on crying, and she was crying oceans. And this is how she meandered into the Jitabna, where Lord Buddha was preaching. And she actually tore off her clothes because she was mad with the grief. And then Lord Buddha saw her that she was stark naked. So the other senior monks who were trying to take her away from the Buddha's sight, Lord Buddha raised his hand and said that, let this lady come to me. And when she started, she was actually alternating between sobbing and crying. Then Lord Buddha told her that, this is the part of her life. People just come and people just leave. And when these soothing words fell into the ears of the lady, she suddenly realized the truth of this world. And why could she realize this truth of the world? Because of the words which were said by Lord Buddha. I mean, they were so soothing, they were so kind that the lady accepted the reality of this world. So, if someone else would have been there, and they would have said something with the other emotion, which had and which didn't have any emotion, I mean, emotion of kindness, then I think the lady wouldn't have realized. So, the words spoken by kindness, the emotion of kindness is shown to somebody, can change the entire perspective of a person. This can also bring in some transformative changes in the person, and the person can uh, become the best version of himself or herself. So this is the power of kindness. People may underestimate the strength and the power of kindness, but this may seem to be a very small word, but this has got immense power in itself. So kindness is really a virtue which can change the people's lives, uh, which can really make you a human. Because we are human, because we have this emotion, we have this virtue. And if people who have lost this virtue may no longer be a human. So this is very much important. And when person finds that you have really got the true kindness in yourself, then they would really uh, change for the better, right? So the question which I'm gonna ask you is, tell me how trust is built and maintained through this random acts of kindness. Because generally people quite find it quite difficult to believe the other person, because we are living in such tough times where believing the other person is going to be quite difficult. Because you see, the kind of people are not actually they don't have one particular face, they've got so many faces. So people find it difficult to believe whether the person is really being kind, or they are trying to be diplomatic, and they are somehow trying to drop them of their wealth, or the possessions they have. So how would you just shed some light on the same, that how trust is built and maintained through consistent acts of consistent acts of kindness.
Okay, so what I'm going to say on this very part, since we are talking about trust and its building up between two people, because I always see trust as a bridge, which is the only possible way out where things could be, you know, led in some positive directions, right? So the first requirement, that's what you have rightly said, that there should be a trust between the people, because what I do, considering good to other, may be taken in some different way by
Yeah,
other. And this is what is the reality of today's society, the way we present ourselves, as well as we all have our different objectives. We are also very politically motivated.
yeah,
We are also too much of concerned about our own positions, our personal benefits. So, in today's scenario, if someone comes up with this ideas pertaining to humanitarian grounds, I really, doubt that people would take it with all sincerity, because that will be, for them a kind of, stratagem, a plot
Yeah.
that usually many people do. I mean, let's see all these political leaders, how do they behave with their constituencies members? They
Yeah.
come out with some big promises, and they do commitments for that, and they do all possible things. I mean, at times it seems and it appears to be that everything is so, you can say, forceful,
Yeah.
as it sounds to be, you know, real and realistic, and there is nothing kind of hoodwink in that.
And they seem to
But
be the kindest people on the planet.
absolutely right, absolutely. So when we have this environment, so we have to be very circumspect in our dealings, especially when you really have some good intentions and you really want to manifest it and you want other people to be benefited, because kindness is good, right? And it becomes good just because of it is no, you can say, backed up by any self interest. That is what is the beauty of kindness. So when I'm doing something good for others, so I don't have any, I mean, any thought as a return to be coming to me from the other party, right? So
Yeah.
this is not like a, bi-directional kind of activity. So yeah, I am doing it for my own volition,
Yeah.
because I believe in humanity, and that doesn't mean that I want something as a return from your side, because I have given you this favor in the name of kindness, right?
Yeah.
So it should not be the way out. And if people behave in that way, I believe it is not at all kindness. It is still
Kind of
one part of
business.
the business. It is one
Yeah.
part of the business. It
Yeah.
sounds more like a business, right? However, it is not done in a more corporate way, or a corporate, I mean, in a corporate way, but it appears to be kind of a business tricks. This is very common these days,
Because
right? I
give
mean,
and take is the part of trade and commerce and this business.
obviously, I think we don't need to go out to even understand this, right? I mean, we can have our personal experiences. I mean, when do we feel really great? When do we really feel, relaxed and content? Only when we have, you know, a kind of, gestures from the other side where everything sounds and appears to be very natural, and it has no political connection, it has no social economic connection, it is just purely coming out of your natural values, humanitarian, right? Then it creates a very strong bond. So what we are talking about initially, that why trust is important is because of we need to make people think that our intention is not a business led intention, it is pure intention, and we believe in the humanity, right? So
Yeah.
therefore, trust building up is really important between the people. And when you talk about how we can build up this trust, which is also very important, because see, none, I mean, I think in this world people are, I mean, very educated, and we have all these kinds of electronic media right now. So people are also to a certain extent aware, right? So we know what is the real world, what is the real society, how the competitive society works at this point of time. So we have to be very, clear on this very part. Our intention, our work with rightful intention may not produce you that boomerang kind of, effect,
Mm. Yeah.
because people may take you in other way. People may take you as someone who is much kind of, you know politicians, right? That what happens most of the time, right? So we have to be very careful about it. So trust building is important. So for trust building, I believe in, one has to be very much relatable
Yeah.
in in meeting up with the people. So if I'm meeting with a person whom I think is a person coming from a low background, right? So I have to be, I mean, present myself in a more relatable manner. So I would not be, behaving myself coming from a very elite section. I might be using the same language. I might be using, something which could be relatable to him, right? I can also share up with kind of some, challenges, kind of struggles, kind of, lifestyle that, I have gone through. All these things will create an impression in his mind or in their mind that there is something, which is like a pulling factor between the people, right?
Yeah.
So that's how the trust builds up. And then when you go forward with this kind of kindness, then it becomes good. But I'm not including that particular section in this very argument where people are more like forlorn, who don't have their, you know, any, I mean, social and political back. They don't have a proper family. They don't have their, names as what we have in the streets right now. You go to Mumbai, you go to New Delhi, you go to Kolkata, all these metropolitan cities, you will meet thousands and thousands of beggars. You will meet thousands and thousands of forlorn kids who
Yeah.
don't have their parents. Many of them are living in orphanage, right? So you you can behave in different way. For example, you can do anything to them. You don't want to introduce yourself, that's fine, because kindness doesn't want you to manifest your physicalities to the
Yeah.
one whom you are doing this, kindful actions, right? So that's how you can manage things up, and that's how you build up your trust, and then you can move forward. And your single act with kindness really creates a lot of impact, especially specifically a transforming impact on the mind of people. Even when a person is bad and very cunning, wicked kind of personality, it is said that when you behave him with a degree of kindness, that person even could be uh, even more like you and would behave you in the same way as you were behaving with him. Over to you.
Yes, and this is the world where people have different backgrounds, people have different labels, people have different, you can say, status. So we are here because the world was created because we could live together. And here, if we are talking about the status, if we are talking about the level you have achieved, certain level you have achieved in the society, in the world, and you are just showing it off. I mean, you go to people and you say you tell them that I'm so and so, and I'm gonna help you out and something like that, and you are just you are willing to hit the headlines that I help these people. I think this is not at all kindness. It means you're just you are advertising yourself. Kindness is kindness when it comes with the no strings attached. I mean, you don't have to say that I'll help you if I get this. I'll help you if I am advertised for helping to help you or for helping you, right? So you can see that these, as you talked about the political leaders, they come and they make hollow promises, and people buy into them, and then once they have won, and then they don't even come to see what conditions the people are living. They they voted them to the power, right? They gave the precious vote to them just because they thought that these people will come out and come and help them out. But because they won, now they're not taking care of these people.
Right.
So once you made a promise to somebody and then you don't deliver on that, people feel cheated. People feel, ignored and neglected, and this is not at all good. It is against the humanity. This is totally unethical, and this shows that you've lost that most important virtue which actually makes us human, and that is kindness. You became something in your life because you are being bestowed up, you are being can say showered upon with blessings by the Almighty, and you became something because of your karmas you did in the past, or the karmas you've been doing so far. But don't spoil your karmas. We are here to help people. We are here to help people grow in their lives. And this is how we grow. If suppose if I'm somebody who has now become a leader or a businessman or a player or an actor, so there was somebody who really helped me, and that's why I could reach where I am today, right? So people just forget this thing, that they were also helped by somebody. If the help was not there for them, I think they wouldn't have reached where
Right.
they find themselves today. So the world is operating on the same theory that people are there to help each other, and that's why this world is operating. And when this stops, I think the world will stop, going. The next thing which we are gonna discuss is, tell me why self-kindness is a prerequisite for influencing others positively. Because what I believe, if you are not kind to yourself, you cannot feel like helping others, if you cannot feel like being kind to others, because this emotion first comes in you, and then you start being kind to yourself first, then you can be kind to others. Otherwise, if you are being harsh on yourself and you are not at all kind to yourself, then you can never become kind to anybody. So this is a prerequisite. I mean, you should be you should be kinder towards yourself first. So self kindness is a prerequisite for influencing others positively. Why do you think so?
Okay, see, when we say self kindness, don't we think that we are doing some self favor here?
Hmm.
And I think it's really, according to me, it's much like a fuel to
Yeah.
survive in this society, because we know the lifestyle that we lead. We know the pressure that build upon us. We know the responsibilities and accountabilities that go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we, as a person, when burdened up with this overwhelming, responsibilities, at times we find that we are doing something very, uh, self self score. That what we can say, self score, in a sense that we become so sadistic towards one ourselves. We become so much kind of you know very barbaric, what
Yeah.
to say, because when you don't listen to your own emotions,
Yes.
when you neglect your emotions, saying it is just a part, and which is nothing more than, you keep ignoring all these emotions, you keep ignoring your feelings,
Yes.
which really needed to be heard by yourself, but we don't, I mean, listen to it. We don't, we even keep ignoring those things. And at times we find that there is no scope left, and there is no way out to do self mending, right? Many times people find it hard, especially the things thereafter become so uncontrollable, because we keep becoming, very, harsh towards ourselves. Okay, and we don't give much ourselves much value, even when
Yeah.
we deserve. So when we find ourselves in such a very uh, troublesome situation, and still we are behaving as nothing has happened to us, pretending at large that we are completely strong and we are very well armored, and therefore no one can hit us. There is something like which could never, beat us, or something like this. I think this is what you can say, injustice, complete
Yeah, we
injustice
are
to
not
oneself.
Superman. We should be kind towards ourselves. Otherwise, we can never show that emotion which is not in us, right?
Absolutely. Obviously, and now we can even, experience these things right now when we don't do this kindness. As we're talking about kindness, so when we don't show this kind of leniency towards ourselves, which we really need it. I mean, in
Then
this
we end
visible,
up burning ourselves out.
yes, we are doing all possible things to make other happy,
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
make our close people so satisfied and content, but we are doing nothing to ourselves, even when we know that we are only the source of their happiness, we are only the source of their livelihood. Many times we find it, I mean, it
Hmm.
goes much with boys and men,
Yeah.
right? People say it's a male dominating society, but put this factor aside for a while and think apart from this, and then you will find it's not easy to be male sometimes.
Yeah.
So being a male, when we don't give, this very, you know, I mean, heartful, you can say, I mean, heartful, what you can say, uh, whatsoever its conduct, or whatsoever you can say, your overall, idea towards yourself, right? As how you treat yourself, right? Personally, because people treat you is something else, but more important is how you
How you
treat
treat
yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what according to me is really important, and therefore I always say that before you go and think good and for the betterment of other, I think you should begin with yourself first. Because as long as you are happy, as long as you are content within you, as long as you are satisfied, I think you can do much better for other. So self, kindness is always very important, and right now it becomes very important because you can't expect
Yeah.
your even close partner to come and to behave with this degree of kindness. And if when you say this, please serve me with this kindness, then I think it's all kind of hollow. I won't say it's
Yeah.
a very natural, willingness
It doesn't come
to.
naturally to people nowadays.
So this is I think, and I think there is no selfishness in this.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in, because
This
when you
is
do
not at
something
all
to yourself,
selfishness, because you have to be first, you have to start things from yourself, as it is said in English language that the charity begins at home.
charity begins at home,
Yeah, as
right?
it has also been said by Mahatma Gandhi, that if you be the change, if you want to see the change in the world, so you yourself are not being kind to yourself, then how can you expect people to be kind to you?
Right. And moreover, what do we do instead of doing this? That we go and appease other. I
Yeah,
don't find why we can't appease ourselves. I mean, do we really need? Don't we really need some appeasement sometime?
yeah, we do
I
need.
think we need that
Yeah,
appeasements because we are also overburdened with this kind of pressure. It's okay that we don't share this with people. It's okay that we don't expect this from other to come and behave in this way with us. But we know this, and therefore we have to be at least in a little bit self-aware, as we have little, I mean, talked in our previous videos, that why self-awareness is important. Self-aware, selfness awareness important for this reason too, because when you become sensitive to, I mean, oneself or ourself, I think you are actually doing something good for you, because at least you have taken yourself out
yeah,
of this very very uh, pressurized lifestyle, where I think there is no scope, or there is no respite of, or there is no sense of respite in this. So I think self kindness is very important, and I think one must cultivate this habit, and this could be done only when you become a little bit self aware. You have to respect your own emotions. You have to behave nicely to ourselves and you yourself, because if you don't behave nicely, I think you are doing you are being injustice to yourself, because performance, you know I mean, only becomes better when you are internally, you know, living in such a state of, peaceful state,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
I think for all these reasons, we have to be, a little bit concerned about ourselves, and then we should think about other.
And when we are able to give something to people, when we have that with ourselves, right? So it is important to be kind towards oneself and yourself if you want to show kindness to people, and then it will come naturally, because now you feel how it feels like being kind to oneself, being kind to ourselves. Then you would love to give this kindness to other people, because you also want them to feel blessed and very happy about themselves. The next thing,
Right.
which and the last and not the least, is tell me how to encourage kindness in personal and professional settings, because you might have seen that professional in the professional settings as well, people are not at all kind. They are always being diplomatic, and they just because they want to just have their, they want to meet their own ends. Once they're done, then they don't even care about you. So how can this be encouraged in personal life as well as in professional life?
Some people are very adamant by their nature,
Hmm.
and they become for their position that they hold. Sometimes it is the need of a particular ambience where they work, that they have to behave very rudely, maintaining a certain degree of harshness. So their subjugates, their employees working under their hands, his hands would be little bit scared of and would be little bit compliant towards all those instructions being forwarded by the higher authority. Now, this is the one part of this, and I think it becomes really hard for those managers and operational holders to be showing kindness to their you know subordinates, right? Because for them it becomes very
Yes.
challenging.
They think that
At the-
kindness will humble them.
yes, it will, but at the same time, when you have operational responsibility on your shoulder, then your each and every action has to be you know done in a more
Bossy
careful
way.
manner. Because
And
if you yeah
you have to be bossy at times because people take you then for granted. Then they won't be. This
You're
is
right.
also a
This
problem.
is also the point. But moreover, a leader or a manager or an operational holder always needs to uh, realize one thing, and that I think could be well expressed through one phrase, that putting ourselves in other shoes.
Yeah.
And when you follow this very idea, every single time when you meet up with your subordinates, or when you find someone doing something wrong on their part, but just because of uh, you are boss, so you can't afford it. But when you feel that, and considering yourself in the same situation, I think you could be even little bit considerate towards that person, and your
Yeah.
consideration towards that person would itself be a kindness to him
Yes.
or that person, right? Yeah, yes, you want to say something?
Yes, just by showing them they are they are valued, just showing
Hmm.
them that means we care for them. I mean, they care for them, and showing them that they understand the problems, but something else also needs to be done. So they can become a bit polite in their words. They can also become they can also put the smile on the face so that people can this smile can help you know their anger will vanish if you smile at them.
And
This has also been seen.
then there is also a culture, because I worked in MNCs for 3 years, and I had been through this very situation. If I am planning to, meet up with an interview in other company, then I have to be holding all possible knowledge about that company, about its business,
Yeah.
about its overall reputations, because certain questions are, hurled at especially the one who's there for the interview purpose. And if you don't, respond to them with a certain
The
degree of
smile.
data,
Yeah,
it
and you also
doesn't
have to
it
keep a smile on your
y-
face.
and it doesn't show, it doesn't, then if you're not able to do that, then it seems that you don't have proper information about the company, and
Mm.
you came here randomly. So this company was not in your choice, it was just you were looking for some job, you came in.
Mhm.
So as a job seeker, my responsibility is that I have to collect all important information about the
Yeah.
company which I'm thinking for the purpose of job. In the same way, I believe that all those operational holders sitting at the higher positions in a particular operation, project managers, they have to be little bit careful and aware about their employees' personal lifestyle. I'm not saying that they have to be very much into their personal lifestyle. That would be even violating one's privacy. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that when little bit affairs about your, employees, for example, little bit financial status, little bit
Yeah.
economical problems, little bit relationship issues, if you are aware of all these things about your employees and about your subordinates, I think being a manager or being an operational holder or project manager, you will always be in a very strong position to manage a situation, and where you are or you were earlier very much harsh towards your employee for his or her slight misconduct, or his going wrong on a certain project, or
Yeah.
his being in compliance towards your instruction, you at this point of time would be even more you know uh, kind. You would be even more soft. You will adopt a very lenient attitude towards him, because you know what are other those circumstances that actually leading that person employed to behave in this way. So when you as an operational holder, a big authority, arranges all these kinds of personal informations, it becomes easy, to maintain kindness and to adopt kindness willingly or unwillingly.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you are not okay with this self asserted kindness, it's okay, it's very positive always. But just for the sake of one's happiness, if you adopt this very, what you can say, a smile with facade, or you can say a disguised smile, which could be something else, but for the time being it is really giving a sense of you know respited sense of inducement, what you can say, because people have gone through something very hard time, and you are
Yeah.
giving them a smile, you are behaving nicely even when you know that this man has done something wrong, or has gone very uh, you can say wrong on the particular project. But your this behavior really means a lot to this employee. It only encourages the overall performance of that employee, his, especially employees trust build up towards operational manager.
Yeah.
Moreover, that becomes a close bond. And I think the major benefit is all reaped by the operation, the company. So
Yeah.
that's how the things could be combinedly proceeded.
Somewhere I read that whenever you meet somebody, meet them with a smile because you don't know what problems a person is going through. So it's important for you to show some kindness to people you meet, and kindness at times, is synonymous with sacrifice. When suppose you want some cold, you want coffee, and the other person wants tea, then you can have cold coffee, right?
Right.
So this is a kind of sacrifice which you have to make at times, and this is known as kindness. And one day while we were having a video call, and then I shared with you a joke that how can a person be kind? That this person was having dinner, and the wife was cooking, and she was actually not able to bake the chapatis properly. They were burning actually. So the husband was having, and then how he made her realize that, uh, honey, can I ask you something today?
Mm.
She said, yes, why not? Then he said that nowadays you're becoming more and more beautiful. She started jumping with joy. She came running and asked, why? Am I really looking so beautiful? Then he said that, देखो रोटियां भी तुम्हें देखकर जल रही हैं, right? So this is how he how he made her realize that she was actually not making the chapatis properly. But yes, she realized, but it was not very harsh on the
Right,
part of
right.
the husband, right? So
Some people adopt
some
this way of,
yeah,
yeah.
sometimes kindness is a kind of sacrifice, but yes, we have to make that sacrifice because we want to make the other person feel, a bit relaxed and relieved and comforted, right? So this is something which we wanted to talk about. And if we want to influence people with kindness, then it should be very genuine. It should come from your heart, and this can. Because people can perceive your emotions. So this is something which we wanted, and now we are going to take the leave of the audience, and we will be coming with some good videos, in the days to come. Since then, until then, take care.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.